Nobara's return wasn't just foreshadowed in the new chapter, but I would say it's all but been confirmed, with so much information dropped about Todo, resonance between Yuji and Sukuna, and it directly foreshadowing how Nobara will be the key to not just being Sukuna, but also it has given us a very clear explanation on where she has been and why she's been absent, and why I truly do believe that she'll be showing up very soon. This video is going to be nothing but crazy. So hey, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content like this. I promise you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to the special grade members of the channel. Alright, let's just get right into this. So, the first thing is to talk about Todo and why this is pretty much giving us an explanation on where Nobara's been and why she will be very pivotal in beating Sukuna. I truly do believe that she is the secret ace that Jujutsu High have hidden up their sleeve. So in this flashback, we have Todo talking to Meme. You'll be outside the domain, so you have to really spread the effective range of Boogie Woogie. There will likely be 4 or more curse technique targets. Can you do that with your left arm? I'm not sure, but I can feel the beat of Boogie Woogie. Don't let brother Itadori know about this plan. Do you know why, Miss May? Is it because of resonance? Yeah. Ryomen Sukuna and Yuji Itadori were joined as one. Even though they've been separated, their connection is still strong. I heard the Yasuachi bridge assignment was triggered because of the resonance between the finger that Itadori had consumed and another finger. You're saying there's a possibility of Itadori subconsciously leaking the plan to Ryomen Sukuna, is that right? Yeah, so deliver a message and also carry out Okotsu's plan right beforehand. And don't reveal the plans to Itadori. So this is important for 2 reasons. The first one being, yes, this confirms a theory I made all the way back in 2022. As you can see, the title is pretty crazy and it's pretty juiced up for the sake of clickbait, I'll just be honest. But the crux of that theory from 2 whole years ago is that yes, there is a soul resonance between Yuji and Sukuna, and because of that soul resonance, Nobara will be able to damage Sukuna via attacking Yuji. At the time when I said this, I got so much pushback with it being called just a crackpot theory, but of course with the new chapter, it's pretty wild, but yes, that theory has been confirmed. So Nobara can indeed damage Sukuna via using Yuji, which I'll explain later on in the video. The second thing I want to mention is that this finally explains where Nobara has been or why she's been absent if she were to return. The biggest pushback for Nobara returning, and this went double for Todo too, is that if they were going to return, then why weren't they with the main cast when they were watching Gojo fight Sukuna? Why is it that they haven't jumped in this whole time? People said that because of this, Todo and Nobara were never going to return, and it just wouldn't make any sense for them to return. However, we got a very clear explanation in this chapter. The reason being is that they were worried that there's a possibility that Itadori may subconsciously leak the plan to Sukuna because of the fact that they have soul resonance, and also because of the fact that Yuji is like a Sukuna finger. So because of both of those reasons, they were worried that there was a possibility that it could leak. And we of course know that this ended up not being true because Sukuna had no idea about any of the plans of Jujutsu High. He was constantly shocked throughout. He was even questioning, wait, how did you guys get so strong? What's up with their reinforcement? He was continually asking so many questions about how they got strong, what their plan is, figuring out their plan on the fly. So the possibility that they were thinking of didn't end up being true, but that has nothing to do with the soul resonance between Yuji and Sukuna. That is still true. It's just that all of the thoughts and sayings of Yuji doesn't get transferred to Sukuna, which they themselves said that part was only a possibility, which again didn't end up being true. But this would explain why Nobara may have been absent. So if there was a way to heal Nobara, or if Nobara did recover over the past month, just like Mei did with Todo, she would purposely keep Nobara in the dark as a secret ace to use against Sukuna, because Nobara, as I've been saying for over 2 years now, she is simply too broken. The entire reason she was shelved for over half of the story is simply because she solves too many problems. Her ability is far too powerful. It is purely hack space and bypasses even defenses. It's just too strong an ability, and I truly do believe that by now JJK would already be over if Nobara never went into that comatose state. She's just that powerful, and I've made 3 different videos on why that's the case in the past, which I will touch upon in this video too. Now let me give you a brief refresher on how Straw Doll Resonance works. Straw Doll Resonance applies cursed energy to an opponent's body part using an effigy. This technique causes damage to the targeted area. The range of the technique varies depending on the opponent's skill level and the targeted body part. All these factors influence the technique's effectiveness. So right here, it means that if a target is very powerful, she wouldn't just be able to one-shot them, of course. However, her technique is still very deadly, with her at the time definitely not being a grade 1 level. She was able to utterly destroy and dominate opponents who are around grade 1 level, or at least semi-grade 1, being the 2 cursed wombs, who at least in terms of special grade class are classified as special grade. Of course not sorcerer special grade, but you get what I mean. So opponents who are on a higher level than her, it's still able to affect them very heavily. And of course it does depend on what they have the opponent. So if you're directly attacking the opponent with the soul resonance, if you're just attacking a piece of their flesh, if you're attacking their cursed energy, which can happen, if you're attacking a limb, which is a big one, and of course if you're just attacking them directly as well, as she was doing with Mahito. All of these things influence how effective this technique is, but one thing that's for certain is that it will always damage the soul, which is something that's very very hard to defend against. I mean, even someone like Mahito, who's on a completely different level compared to Nobara. I mean, he's just many tiers above her. I hate to say it, but it's just the truth. The guy is a monster. And he is specifically a cursed spirit whose whole concept and curse technique and everything about them is souls, controlling souls, being aware of their soul, being able to manipulate their own soul. So this is someone who is best able to defend their soul out of anyone in the series. No one else comes close. She was able to completely bypass any soul defense that he had and absolutely rock his shit. So much so that he considered her a natural enemy to him. So I would say how much physical damage it does to the opponent does depend on all the things that the narrator listed, as you can see on the screen. So the skill level of the opponent, the targeted body part that you're choosing to target, and of course what you're targeting. So cursed energy, a limit the opponent directly. Of course, all these things matter, but I do believe that this is a technique that just bypasses any sort of soul defense or resistance you have. I mean, if it can do that to Mahito, I just don't see anyone being able to defend their own souls against this attack. And now that my old theory from 2 years ago has been confirmed with the new chapter that yes, Yuji and Sukuna, they do share a soul resonance connection, Nobara will be able to damage Sukuna if she damages Yuji. Not just the fact that they have soul resonance, but also the fact that Yuji does share Sukuna's cursed energy. He is shrouded in it, so much so that he's even considered a cursed object. He is just like a cursed object of a Sukuna finger, and all of this is on top of the fact that they do share a metaphysical connection that goes even beyond Yuji just being his vessel. As Urume said, there's just a deeper connection, and of course we now know that it's because Sukuna is Yuji's, at least is his uncle via reincarnation. So Yuji's father, Jin Itadori, was the reincarnation of Sukuna's twin, thus meaning Yuji is the son of Sukuna's reincarnated twin, sort of making them uncle and nephew, at least via reincarnation. So they do share so many connections. As I talked about before, all of these connections matter. They greatly change how effective the technique is. So if you think about it, if Nobara were to use her technique on Yuji, so let's say Yuji sticks his arm out and Nobara uses her straw doll technique on Yuji's hand or his arm, just like she did on herself when she was fighting Eso and Chietsu, where simply because she had their cursed energy on her, because she damaged herself, because their cursed energy was there, that damage was transferred to both of them. So yes, if she were to damage Yuji, 100% for a fact that will transfer to Sukuna. So imagine, let's say Sukuna's fighting Yuto, who comes back, or Maki, or just anybody else, and Nobara keeps repeatedly hitting Yuji with her soul resonance, and that damage will be transferred to Sukuna. The guy will just keep getting staggered, and because we know it's soul damage, it's soul resonance, it will also, at least in theory, it should affect the outline of his soul between him and Megami, thus affecting his both normal output and reverse curse technique output, weakening him. And Yuji is someone who is aware of his soul, and he does have reverse curse technique, so Yuji will be able to heal this soul damage with his own reverse curse technique and also the normal damage that he'll take from Nobara. But of course Sukuna will struggle with this, not because he's not aware of the outline of his soul, but because he harbors two souls and is also in a body that's not his. As we know, that greatly hinders Sukuna's ability to heal his own soul or be aware of his own soul's outline. If Sukuna were in his own Heian body, or if Megami's soul wasn't there, then Sukuna wouldn't have all this trouble with Yuji either. All of the punches that Yuji does, Sukuna would be able to heal with his own regular reverse curse technique. But again, as I've explained before, because he harbors Megami, he can't. So that's the reason why Yuji would be able to heal this soul damage and even normal damage, but Sukuna would struggle with it and just wouldn't be able to. It is such an insane ace to have, especially if she comes out right at the very end. And once again, it would explain why she's been absent. She would be the final card Mamiya stored to beat Sukuna, and it would also explain why she has not been seen throughout the series, or at least post time skip, because they don't want Yuji to know about the plan. As was explained before, it's the same reason why Todo was hidden this entire time. Foreshadowing aspect from a writing point of view, the fact that it was mentioned that Yuji and Sukuna share a soul resonance, that it was directly said to be a resonance, I do want to say that does just really make me believe that GEGE is setting up a Nobara return with that. The explanation was there, the same as Todo. That would be the reason why Nobara has yet to appear, because like I've been saying, and many others have been saying for a very long time, I'd say years, Todo and Nobara are both like a shared package. Either neither of them are showing up by the end of the series, or both of them are. We got Todo showing up with an explanation that perfectly fits as to why Nobara hasn't showed up. It would just be perfect for it to show up now, and of course this isn't even getting into the fact that it would be the ultimate hype, because do remember, GEGE himself has openly said that what he cares about the most is making an interesting story and also week to week hype, making the most interesting hype chapters every week. Nobara coming back, beside the fact that it makes sense from a writing point of view, we have the explanation with Todo right there. It's perfect for Nobara to return. Would that not just be a crazy hype chapter week to week? I mean, the internet would just explode if she comes back. I mean, just look at the reaction we've got from Todo coming back. So I do believe from a writing point of view, specifically what GEGE is out to achieve and what he's been quoted devoted to want from JJK every week, I think it also fits in that way, where it would just be a crazy hype chapter and could even leave JJK on a 2-week break, just making everybody go crazy if we just see Nobara, just like Todo did, walk out of the dust or just appear out of nowhere to show up and fight Sukuna. And this is also on top of the fact that we do have 2 Sukuna hands out there right now. Sukuna cut the first one off when he was fighting Higuruma so that the execution sword wouldn't kill him, and Maki also cut another hand off as well. So there are 2 hands perfect for Nobara to use her straw doll resonance to greatly damage Sukuna, and you could argue that maybe Sukuna's skill is too high and it wouldn't affect him, but do remember, Sukuna is nerfed 50 times. He is on the brink of death. His output has been reduced to hell. He can't use reverse curse technique. He can't use his domain expansion. He's got 50 binding vows on his head right now. His heart has been stabbed and he's barely keeping it up by pumping it with cursed energy. He got hit by multiple black flashes by Yuji. He's missing 2 hands. His cursed energy is much less than half right now, and he also can't use his curse technique. Yes, if Sukuna was at 20 fingers at his peak, he very likely could easily withstand the straw doll resonance or just wouldn't be as strong, but this guy is nerfed into the absolute dirt right now, so it would be very effective against him. And of course it would be far more effective when you consider the link that Yuji has to Sukuna, so that greatly increases the technique's effectiveness. And also, if she does straight up have an entire limb of Sukuna, the 2 hands, that would also be very effective if you have a hand of the opponent. That would greatly increase how powerful it is. Not even getting into the fact that Nobara could have easily gotten much stronger over the time skip, just like everyone else did with the soul swap training. So maybe, just like how only Mei was aware that Todo was alive, and probably Uyui as well, just so that I could buff Todo's reinforcement like they did for everyone else, they could do the exact same they did for Todo for Nobara as well. So if we see Todo being very strong in the next chapter that's coming out, because he's been doing training off screen that no one saw with Uyui, that would also apply to Nobara as well. So Nobara would be way stronger, her reinforcement would be much higher, and that may translate to a technique as well. But do you think Nobara's coming back? Let me know in the comments down below, because I truly do believe that she's going to come back very soon at that. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Less than 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you love JJK, I assure you, you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to all the channel members as well. It is much appreciated, guys. Thank you very much. But that's all from me. Have a great day and take care.